Adjourned, and the resumption of the debate will be made an order of the day for the next sitting. I call the clerk.
Private members' business. Notice number 4 for a motion in relation to the anniversaries of the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
And I call the member for Hasluck.
I move the motion relating to the anniversaries of the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the terms in which it appears on the notice paper. Deputy Speaker, I rise today in solemn remembrance of one of the darkest chapters in human history, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which occurred 80 years ago this August. Over 200,000 lives were lost, many in an instant, and many more through the long shadows of radiation sickness, injury, displacement and generational trauma. They were not just numbers. They were children walking to school, parents preparing meals, nurses, artists, builders. Their lives interrupted, families erased, futures lost. Those who survived Hibakusha carried not only the physical scars, but the burden of memory, of trauma passed through generations. And I acknowledge and welcome to the Parliament Mr Isao Morimoto, a second-generation Hibakusha. Yet despite such profound suffering, the survivors have chosen the path of peace. They have spoken not in vengeance, but in warning. They have shared their stories with unwavering courage, and in doing so have changed the conscience of the world. We honour the survivor group Nihon Hidankyo, who were awarded the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize. For decades, they have borne witness to and remind us again and again of what nuclear weapons really do. Their work embodies human resilience and moral clarity. They have ensured that the world cannot look away. Deputy Speaker, as a representative of Hasluck, I also reflect on our own history here in Australia, of the First Nations communities and military personnel affected by British nuclear testing on our soil. Many lived through the devastation without consent, without information, and for far too often without justice. In places like Maralinga and Montebello Islands in WA, the legacy of these tests linger. In the land, in the bodies of survivors, and in the intergenerational trauma passed on down through the families. We cannot look forward to peace unless we are honest about the harm that was done here at home. I acknowledge and welcome to the Parliament Karina Lester, a second-generation nuclear test survivor and ICANN ambassador. I represent the people of Hasluck and I style myself as a fighter for Hasluck. I fight for opportunity, I fight for fairness and for a future grounded in hope and stability. But as we have seen, that fight would be over in a moment a nuclear war begins. None of our dreams will survive it. There will be no winners. The idea that some lives are dispensable, that some human beings are essentially worth less, is not only morally obscene, it's the foundation of this kind of destruction. We must fight against apathy and against the illusion that the threat is someone else's problem. Our enemies are not other nations or other peoples. They are the forces of fear, cynicism and indifference. Nuclear war must never happen. We must never allow it to happen. And there is no greater security issue facing any of us. Now, this motion, it reaffirms Australia's long-standing commitment to a world without nuclear weapons. It speaks to our values, the dignity of every human life, the rule of law and a fair go for future generations. It reflects our defence interests because nuclear conflict serves no nation and secures no lasting peace. And it underscores our humanitarian responsibility to those who have suffered and to those who stand to suffer if we do not act. And change is possible. In 1986, there were over 70,000 active nuclear warheads. Today, that number is under 4,000. And that didn't happen by accident. It happened because people fought for treaties, for diplomacy, and for a new way forward. Treaties matter. Effort matters. Australia has long supported the international legal frameworks that underpin nuclear disarmament, particularly the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and the Treaty of Rarotonga, which keeps the South Pacific nuclear-free. We furthermore welcome the growing number of countries joining the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, And while Australia has not yet signed this treaty, I strongly support the ongoing engagement in the multilateral disarmament efforts. We must work constructively with allies, civil society and, crucially, with affected communities to make tangible progress. Let us honour the victims, the survivors and the advocates with more than words, and let us honour them with action. I commend the motion to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Is there a seconder to the motion?
I second the motion, Deputy Speaker, and reserve my right to speak.